So it's really interesting to see a field that was very, very new 25 years ago, now to the point of being accessible and affordable, that we can make it available to anywhere. It is a converging area where you get to work with multidisciplinary teams. It's an incredible opportunity for the future.
So what's your name and what do you do?
My name is Suzanne Gill, and I am President and CEO at Genome British Columbia.
And what does Genome British Columbia do?
GenomeBC is a not-for-profit organization. We've been around for almost 25 years now, and we serve to invest in world-class research in British Columbia and accelerate the adoption of genomics technologies into practice, into human health and to other sectors.
You mentioned other sectors. What do you mean by that?
Most people appreciate genomics and its context in the human health, precision medicine realm. We also, interestingly, invest in world-class research in forestry, mining, energy, and the environment.
And what kind of problems are you trying to resolve in resource industries?
So when it comes to forestry, we're talking about can you develop some tree breeding programs so that we have seedlings we can plant when the climate is 2 or 3 degrees warmer in the future. And these trees are climate proof. They are drought tolerant and they have more ability to withstand the warmer temperatures. So how can you identify what genes are attractive for the traits that you want and accelerate the breeding techniques? When it comes to other things like healthy forests, we have tools, genomic tools that we can use to develop surveillance systems to identify alien pests that may threaten our tree species that are high-value products for our industry.
And what other applications have you seen?
So when it comes to mining, we are looking at things like, can you use the power of the microbe to improve remediation strategies so you can have mine reclamation in a reasonable period of time? Can you improve water quality by removing toxic compounds like selenium, for example? In terms of the environment, can you use genomic tools such as environmental DNA to benchmark the health of our environment? And really it's, can you create these tools that perhaps at some future point can replace current standards? Could you imagine an environmental assessment process that is only a couple of years long, costs half as much time, less boots on the ground, and be able to get the job done much more quickly and with better information?
So in terms of remediation, you use that term. What is that exactly?
That's being able to look at contaminated soils or sites that have industrial activity. There's microbes all over the place, lots of bugs in the earth, and some of them eat toxic compounds. Some of them actually are able to have microbial processes that change the ingredients in the environment. And so can we harness the power of Mother Nature and be able to do that better by understanding these communities of microbes and the processes that they undertake in order to get what we want to get done, which is to clean up the environment or have soil back to its natural state?
So how do you take an idea like that from can we do this to actually taking that technology to market?
We invest in the novel and the world-class research first and foremost. And I'll just talk a little bit about the journey we've taken here because it matters. We've had the human genome sequence in our hands now for 20 years. That was a moonshot effort really to sequence the human genome, international effort. It took 13 years and $3 billion to do. And that was to have the first human genome. So we've had that for over 20 years now. And what that means is that body of discovery and knowledge has unlocked incredible understanding around life, biology at a molecular level, and that's very powerful when it comes to designing new biomining solutions. So that body of discovery-oriented research was foundational to what we built on, and then from there we kind of then develop use cases. What are the case studies that we want to test out whether it would be feasible to have genomics apply to this problem? Can we design a solution? Is it even possible? Can you marry, in some cases, chemical processes alongside microbial biological processes to really increase the opportunity to scale a technology that may have proven itself out to be an opportunity in the research lab, on the bench, so to speak, in the post-secondary institutions? And then can you get it out and field test it? And then can you scale it? Can you design some kind of bioreactor or water treatment facility that looks at doing this at scale? And then when we're talking mining operations, it's big scale. So that's the big jump. And so there's a whole process there, and it involves industry because we really need to design these research programs that we invest in to be very targeted to the problem at hand.
It sounds like there's probably a lot of risk involved in that.
It takes an incredible amount of investment to do the discovery amount of research. And that's why actually groups like GenomeBC fund world-class research in our post-secondary institutions. And then when you want to share that risk of developing a new product or a solution, it's shared among different partners as you move further down the development pipeline towards commercialization. And that's when you see things like the Mining Microbiome Analytical Platform, which is a $16 million project with partners like Tech, Rio Tinto, a couple software companies, Alonia, Kuhnke, BGC Engineering, GenomeBC, and UBC in a shared risk environment, which is very, very exciting. But that original foundational work was discovery-based.
What kind of careers feed into this type of innovation that you're describing?
A lot of our work includes students. We fund at research-intensive universities, so everywhere from UBC, SFU, UNBC up in Prince George, UVic on the island, Thompson Rivers University, KPU in the valley. But we are working with microbiologists or technicians that are in the labs. They're able to sample and sequence on site now because, one, the cost is cheaper, equipment's getting smaller, it's affordable, you can pretty much put it anywhere. So we're really sharing the knowledge, and what's happened is because the field of genomics has evolved from being this moonshot, bleeding edge, new area, it's really become a little more ubiquitous. People are starting to talk about biotech, genomics, and mining. So it's really interesting to see a field that was very, very new 25 years ago, now to the point of being accessible and affordable, that we can make it available to anywhere. The jobs of the future really, I think, are curious people that are interested in science. But if you go into science, don't think you're just going to be tackling a biological problem. It is a converging area where you get to work with multidisciplinary teams. It's a great career. It's an incredible opportunity for the future.
How did you get into this space, Suzanne?
I wanted to be a vet, and I didn't quite get there, but I did do a master's in science, so I was really interested in sort of the scientific discipline, and also why industry would be willing to pay for my research as a master's student. And then that took me on a bit of a journey, a little bit of economic development. Then I did my MBA, and I started in the business of science. So I've been in the genomics community for almost 20 years now.
How long have you been the CEO?
Just over 2 years.
Are there things that surprise you at this level of your career?
There's always something new and something exciting, and I think the pace of groundbreaking discovery right now at this convergence where we have like incredibly technological advances in engineering, the tech sector, particularly in Vancouver and the Lower Mainland, tackling these biological questions is a really exciting time, and I think this is even more exciting for the mining sector particularly.